According to an August 5, 2011 report issued by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 29,000 people below the age of 5 died from famine-associated malnutrition in the previous 90 days. Mobilization was therefore declared to help the situation. Famine warnings have been issued in previous years in Somalia. There have been mobilizations and aid has been collected, food supplies have been dispatched, and many meetings have been held and speeches made on the subject. But this aid has only ever produced short-term results, and at the end of the day, the situation has remained basically unchanged, and now the alarm has been sounded again. The sole reason for all forms of want, poverty, hunger, misery, and lovelessness in the world, including the famine in Somalia, is that people do not live fully by Islamic moral values, and Muslims are not united. The only permanent solution to this is the urgent establishment by Allah's leave of a Turkish Islamic Union. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. What reason could you have for not fighting in the way of Allah, for those men, women, and children who are oppressed and say, "Our Lord, take us out of this city whose inhabitants are wrongdoers. Give us a protector from you. Give us a helper from you." Surat An-Nisa 75. The reason for the persistent state of famine in some parts of the world is Darwinist education and the failure to properly live by Islamic moral values. Darwinist thinking, which dominates 90% of the world, makes people intrinsically selfish, rather than altruistic and eager to help others. In the same way that this pagan religion produces extremes of wealth and poverty within itself, it also gives rise to extremes of wealth and poverty in the world as a whole. Allah reveals in the Quran that the model that refuses to feed the hungry and needy, and that on the contrary despises them, is that of those who deny the true religion. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Have you seen him as the faith? One who harshly rebuffs the orphan and does not urge the feeding of the poor. Surat Al-Ma'un 1-3. Therefore, the salvation of the world lies in the global dominion of the excellent moral values of those who sincerely believe and who have deny the faith. One that is able to exercise its will, to salvation not only for innocent Muslims, but for all innocent people in the world. The solution is the global dominion of the moral values of Islam. With the establishment of the Turkish Islamic Union, Muslims will cause Islamic values to rule the entire world, inshallah. Allah reveals that the disorder and suffering in the world will not come to an end so long as Muslims are disunited. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Those believers are the friends and protectors of one another. If you do not act in the alliance with others, turmoil in the land and great corruption. Surat Al-Anfal 73. By this verse, Allah reveals that in order for the corruption on earth to come to an end, believers must be one another's friends and allies and act in unity and unison. All Muslims have an obligation to heed this command. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Hold fast to the rope of Allah altogether and do not separate. Remember Allah's blessing to you. Surah Al-Imran 103.